Hello everyone. Here we will discuss about Java generics. Generics is used to create a single class interface or method that can be used with different type of objects. Here a class or interface or method that operates on a parameterized type is called generics. Generic means the parameterized type of object. The advantage of generics is here type safety. That means it holds only a single type of objects. That means that the object may be integer or string or float or character, etc. It does not allow to store other type of objects at the time. For example, here without generics I am giving the code, I am creating the array list without any data type. Actually we used to give the type of the object here like a string by using the angle bracket, but here we didn't mention that. So without mentioning the type of object, I am creating the array list object to implement the interface list. Here I am adding the data. Here I am using integer value, but here you see I am passing the integer value as a string inside the double quotes. So here we didn't use the data type here to mention the object type. For example, here with generics I am storing the type of the object with mentioning that wrapper class data types, that is integer inside the angle bracket. So when you are mentioning like this, you see here we are storing different type of data using the same object, but here when you are storing the integer value within the strings as a string, it will create the compile time error. That means it will not allow to store different objects at the same time. So here only integer values can be stored in the object al, which is created by using array list. Likewise, here another one advantage is typecasting is not needed manually. All right, there is no need of typecasting for the object manually. For example, without generics I am using the array list here. That means we did not mention the type of the object here, so we didn't give this. So here I'm adding the data to the object al. Then you see when I am storing this value into the another object string, I am trying to use manual conversion, typecasting. Manually I am converting the data which is stored in the zeroth index. So array list is created like this at the zeroth index, which is storing the value hello as per our statement here. After that I am trying to access this element which is stored in the zeroth index. After accessing, I am converting that into the string, right? So manually we are performing the conversion, that is called typecasting. But when you are not using the, I mean when you are using the generics, need not to use the manual conversion. For example, you see here we are defining the array list object here with the string data type. So this object only stores the string data type values. Here I am storing the value as a string into the object al. Then you see I did not give the manual type conversion. Automatically it will store that value as a string. So here I am accessing the value at the zeroth index. Here it is need not to use the explicit type conversion. So type conversion is not needed when we are using generics, because the in the generics it will store only the object what you are mentioning here data type, that corresponding data type. And another one thing is here the generics checking the code during compilation time. So whatever bugs or errors are rising, that will be raised during the compilation time itself. So it will not rise the bugs during the runtime. So here why do we use this compile time checking? Because the compilation during the compilation, if you check the errors, that is increase the performance of our program than checking during the runtime. So it is better to handle the problem during the compilation time than the runtime. And here you see, when we are storing the values into the object list, it will store only the string values. It will not allow the integer value, because the as per the generic programming, here the object will store only one type of value, that is here mentioned as a string, so it cannot store the integer value 32 at the same time. This slide shows the type parameters in generic programming. Here we are having different type programmings. T represents the type. So here we can use the T in the angle bracket, that is representing the type. Then E represent element right inside the angle bracket. Then key is representing by K, and value is representing by V, and number is representing by n. So there is a different type parameters available in Java generics. We can use depends upon our requirement. Here I am defining the generic class with the generalized form. Here class is referring any type in the generic class, that is represented by using the T type parameter, which is used to create the generic class with a specific type of object. Here you see, I am defining the class with some class name, then I am using T is the type variable here. Using this T type variable, I am creating the object here. Then for that object, if I want to assign any value, right here I can use the construct, a set method to assign the value to this particular object. Likewise, if I want to access the value of the object which is stored here, I can use the get method. The type is represented with the type variable, right? That may be string type, or float type, or character type, or integer type. So if any type can be accessed through this method, so it is returning the value of obj. Here T is representing the type of objects, any type. Okay, it can access any type, because T is generalized one. So that's what we are saying here, generalized form. T is representing generalized one, so it can access string or integer or float. So any type of object it can be set and access using these methods. So here, which is used to store and retrieve the data, that means accessing the data, right? That type variable. So here we are creating an object for generic class. The syntax is given class name, then data type, here integer or string or float, like that. Then object variable name, then new is the keyword to allot the memory location during the creation of object, then class name, then again data type argument list, and we can pass any values through this argument list. For example, here I am defining the class name here, right? Generic demo, then main method. So here, as per this, I am defining the class. Here I am implementing the set interface using the hash set class, which is creating the object variable here. Then type argument here, I am passing integer. That means here, hash set is creating the object set, set, which is implementing the set interface. It will store only the integer values. It will not access any other type of the values. And here by default we are creating the structure with the 16 memory location, that is the default argument here we are passing. Then I am adding the value 23, which is integer, and next time I am adding the value 12. So now hash structure will be created like this. In this, first we are adding 12, then which is going to the next one, and 23 is created here. Then here I am accessing the values. Now we stored the values in the hash set structure, right? Now I am going to access those values by iterating the values one by one by using iterator method. So for that I am defining the iterator method to the set object, which is created by using the hash set, so which is assigned to the variable it. So this it variable is reference variable to the set structure by using iterator interface, which also will access only the integer values, because already we stored our values as integer here. Then I am initializing one primitive data type variable here, sum equal to 0. Then now it is referencing this hash structure already, which is using the variable set. Now which is checking hash next. This it is hashing any more elements here. Yes, it is having element, so it is returning true. Then it is getting inside the while loop, inside the while loop which is returning the first element, I mean current element is 12, right? That is assigning into the sum. Now initially sum equal to 0, so 0 plus 12, then it is moving to the next element. So now while loop is having only single statement, again going back checking the condition. It is hashing, it has next element, yes, which is having next element, so 23. So getting inside, which is giving the true, get inside the while loop. Now current element is here, this 23, so 23 is added and moving to next position of the hash set structure. Now this is having null element. Then again after completing the statement, moving to the condition checking. It has next element, no, it is not having any element, so which is returning false. It will come out of the while loop. The next statement outside the while loop is we are having some value to be displayed. So here it is displaying the value 35. So based upon that, which is displaying the value, this is just example here, right? We are passing 50 is the memory location size. We are initializing initially for the set operation. Okay, so this is the example for creating the object for generic class. Likewise here same kind of example, but I am receiving the input during the runtime instead of giving static input. Here you see we are giving the static input during the compilation time itself, but here I am going to receive the input during the runtime. Same example here, inside the main method I am creating the set object by using the hash set class to implement the set interface, which is receiving only the integer type of object values. So here scanner is the class to receive runtime input I am defining in is the object for that. Then here I equal to 1, so which is receiving 5 elements one by one, right? Here we are going to add the values one by one here. Then after that we are going to assign those values here into the iterator method. As per this example, I am receiving 5 inputs one by one: 5, 65, 84, 20, and 32. So after that, I am trying to iterate the values one by one. For adding those values, initially I am assigning sum equal to 0. Then I am accessing the values one by one. First it is checking it. Initially when you are creating the hash rate structure, it is creating all the elements here one by one: 5, 65, then 84, 20, then another one element is created with 32. Then it is the reference variable. Here we are using to access the set object which is created here. Now which is accessing one by one as we have discussed by using the hash next, right? Returning the current element and moving to the next index. So like that it is accessing all the elements, then which is adding one by one, finally which is displaying the sum value of these elements. So here we are receiving the input during the runtime of the program. Thanks for watching.